Hi. I just wanted to hop on and do a quick conversation about resistance, stuckness, fear. If you think about the job of fear, it's to keep you safe, right? You identify danger and you make a better decision because your physical self has engaged a feeling state that has you look at something differently. Might be rethinking the walking home through the dark alley and staying on the street light lit streets. I know that's kind of a silly example, but we're using our judgment all the time. Think about when you drive and you see someone's driving erratically and you might choose to give them a little more space or change lanes so that you can pass them safely. Whatever it is, there's this way that fear has a job, that there is this way that we let fear do its job, which is to warn us when things need our attention. Now, having said that, a lot of times we are afraid and the fear isn't real, right? The danger isn't real. The fear is real, but the danger isn't real. And I think about that a lot as we're talking about changing something in our life, particularly growing in our businesses. And a lot of times we are not growing as fast as we like, or changing, doing the things that we know we should do. And a lot of times that has to do with fear of getting too big, fear of making a mistake, feeling of failure. It's just so much easier to stay small. How many of you have ever not called a client or a potential client because it was easier to not hear them say no than it was to get the phone call out of the way? As long as you didn't hear them say no, they get to stay out there as a possibility. Anyway, this is just one of many, many examples. But I'm not really here to talk about fear because I feel like I talk about fear a lot, and a lot of it's pretty pervasive right now. But today I really just want to talk about how to shift that fear, and particularly as it relates to things that you want to change in your world, maybe your business, your personal life. And that's that fear, if you create a big enough vision that actually gives your brain some security and it releases some of the fear. If your vision is big enough, then it gives your brain something to see that allows you that will pull you forward. Because when you have to have something that's disrupting the brain chemistry of protect, protect, protect. And the only really thing that will do that is, hey, there's something so much better over here, something so much bigger. So this is an invitation to look at the quality of your vision. If there's some area of your life you want to change, how clearly have you visualized it? Have you written down what you want? Have you gotten very, very explicitly specific about what you want, how it looks, how it's going to make you feel, what's it going to make available? What's it going to cost you? And I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about what it's going to cost you in terms of your energy, what it's going to cost you in terms of maybe putting yourself out there. Going back to the client example, it might cost you finding a no, which means, oh my gosh, then you have to come up with 10 more people to set up, to call, to ask, to find 10 more people to potentially hire you. So it's going to cost you closing off some things so that new things can open up. Once you've done this visioning work, often you're suddenly able to move through the fear so much easier. This is just a toe dip in, but the takeaway for you might be to sit down and create your fantastic life. Again, you know me, I'm all about how good are you willing to have it and creating an intentional life. I would love to hear what you're visualizing. Mwah. Take care.